Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives and another episode of What Can You Get From That Pack. Now today's carbon fiber in question is indeed the 4for4 carbon fiber, which you need to open if you want to do well in the 4for4 event. Now pretty interesting one, I would say, because the event leaves little to be desired. It's your, average ceramic pack top 10 kind of event. But this carbon fiber is relatively interesting, so I decided to give it a shot for What Can You Get. And also because we aren't getting tri-series anymore because, like in yesterday's video, Top Drives is going through a pretty strange climate right now, so I don't even have any tri-series packs to open or review. So we're going to do the 4for4. One thing that is really quirky about this pack is that you're going to get a lot more legendaries, or there are a lot more legendaries that you can get over ultra rares. There are only 8 ultra rares that you can get from this pack, but almost 4 times that in terms of legendaries. 31 legendaries you can get from this pack. Now unfortunately that doesn't mean that your chances of getting a legendary has increased. I know that is a beginner's mistake. Oh, the more legendaries means the higher odds. No, absolutely not. The odds for getting a legendary is still the same. It's just that you can get a lot of legendaries. And in this case, with all the Bentleys running around, the chances of you getting a good legendary might even be decreased compared to, I don't know, your regular like 50-50 carbon fiber where they're about the same amount of ultras and legendaries. But I digress. Let's get into it. What can you get? You know how it works. We got Dirk Kaiser, Daily Driver, Frequent Provider, Pernicious Ulcer, and Hot Garbage. Starting this off is the Cadillac CTS Coupe. Used to be Blossom Choice, still absolutely fantastic. It is a 4-seater, so it's not going to be useful in that like 5-seater events and clubs that show up all the time, but in these kind of 4-seater events like today, especially if there aren't any wet track sets, the Cadillac CTS Coupe is a very useful car to use. Even the fact that it's a coupe and has center tires, 4-wheel drive, medium ground clearance. Now one great thing about the CTS Coupe is that it kind of operates in its niche in a different area than most of its competitors. For example, the Legacy BW is considered a saloon, but the CTS Coupe obviously isn't. Coupe is in the name. That being said, it also has really good statistics, medium ground clearance, great handling, 4-wheel drive, and center tires, which is a great combination. I would give it Daily Driver. I might even push it up to Dirk Kaiser, but I'll think on that for a little bit. What definitely is Dirk Kaiser though is the Chevrolet Colorado ZR2. This is like the Lancia 037 if it had 4-wheel drive almost. Like when you think of rear-wheel drive off-road, ultra rare, you think of the 037. When you think of 4-wheel drive where you only have to use 4-wheel drive, then you would think of the Colorado ZR2. Not much to say about it. It speaks for itself. Fantastic car. Then we have the Dodge Stealth. The Dodge Stealth is kind of a jack-of-all-trades kind of car. MRI 66 isn't very strong at all, but the handling is decent. The 0 to 60 is also decent. Now, one thing that really makes the Dodge Stealth stand apart is going to be when I compare it directly to the Opel GTC. One is RQ60. It's an outdated picture. It's 60 in the game now, and the Opel GTC concept is 61 at 1 RQ more. And as you can see over here, the Stealth has a higher top speed, the same 0 to 60, and the same handling. On top of that, the Dodge Stealth has 66 MRA compared to the Opel GTC's 45. Yeah. Now, I do understand that the Opel GTC concept does come with traction control and ABS, whilst the Dodge Stealth only comes with ABS without traction control. But for 1 RQ more, and you're telling me there's a 20 MRA difference, the same handling, the same 0 to 60, and more so, the Dodge Stealth has a higher top speed. The Dodge Stealth is obviously going to be more of the bargain, making the Opel GTC look very bad. I'm going to put it down in hot garbage. Next one is going to be the Nissan GTR R32. Once again, I've talked about this car so many times. I freaking love it, especially when it had amazing MRA back in the day. But now with its current stats of 5.3 0 to 60 and 83 handling, once again the picture is outdated. Just think of it as 5.383. It really has fallen from grace. If it had the MRA, I would give it Daily Driver. Back in the day, it had less handling, but I'd rather have the Japanese R32 be a car with less handling and be more of a dragster compared to little better handling but very bad MRI. That is because that's basically all Japanese cars. So what happened to the R32 is that it became basic. It became a basic Japanese car. Handles okay, no MRA, 4-wheel drive, blah blah blah, sounds like a Subaru without medium ground clearance even. So at the best I can give it is Frequent Provider. It still handles well, I still gotta credit it that way. 0 to 60 is still somewhat decent, but I wish it had the MRA that it used to have. Next up is going to be another Skyline, the R33. 5 seconds 0 to 60 and 84 handling. It is a direct upgrade to the R32. However, also the MRA increase is quite significant from 61 to 64. So for 3 RQ more, you're basically getting 0.3 0 to 60 less. You are also getting 1 more handling, but the MRA on the Skyline is actually worse still. On the R33 is actually worse still to the R32. 66 in the R32, 64 in the Skyline GTR R33. And with these super similar top speed, the R32 is still the car that you want to use for the test pool. That being said though, you're not really going to put a Japanese car in a test pool that much. But I would say that they're pretty equal, so I'll give both of them frequent provider. Next one is the Porsche 911 Carrera 4. I feel like I've been reviewing this car significantly a lot. Quite significantly. Hot garbage. Don't need to talk too much about that. Very, very depressing stats. Also doesn't have traction control. And then the next one is the Vauxhall Calibra Turbo. Now the Vauxhall Calibra Turbo is an interesting one to rate. Quite lightweight, coming in at 1,400 kilograms, 6.10 to 60, 80 handling, but no MRA at 59. 4-wheel drive. The only thing that separates it from hot garbage is the fact that it kind of carries that interesting tag, which is a style icon. It is a style icon. So one of the very few cars with a style icon tag, so it has its niches there. And that's it for ultra rares. Now we move on to epics, and we start off with the Audis. And straight off the bat, man, we're not starting good with the Audis. Okay, this is going to be pernicious ulcer. This is going to be hot garbage. You're going to be pernicious ulcer, and you're going to be pernicious ulcer as well. These Audis leave very little to be desired. Their handlings aren't very strong. I understand that it's 4-wheel drive, so the RQ is inflated and the MRA is decreased, but at the same time, there are other 4-wheel drive cars out there that handle better than these ones. So 85, 84, 85, 84. Very average stuff, I would say. Also, the 0 to 60s aren't particularly very strong, so you would think, oh, okay, if the 0 to 60 aren't too high on these Audis, then maybe they have the MRA to back it up, but really they don't. The TTRS has the highest, coming in at 79. Yeah, you can't even hit 80, bro, and you have a worse 0 to 60 compared to the Bentley GT Speed Coupe, and you have worse handling compared to the Bentley GT Speed Coupe, so, and a lower top speed compared to the Bentley GT Speed Coupe. If you look bad compared to a Bentley, you know there is a problem. And then just to confirm, this Audi over here, the RQ73, that's 74 now, has an MRI of 73.21, so nothing too special. That being said, I will set aside the Audi RS7 Sportback. The handling is still atrocious on this, and the 0 to 60 482 RQ is not very strong either, or 83 RQ now, my bad. These outdated pictures, man, they throw me off every single time, and obviously it's got 92 MRA. So the thing that I can applaud for the RS7 is it has the MRA, it has traction control and ABS, and it has that 4-wheel drive versatility that is useful sometimes, but then again, you pair 92 MRA of 155 miles per hour for a top speed, not the best combination in the world. The best I'm going to give it to is the frequent provider roll. Next is going to be the Bentley Continental Flying Spur and the Bentley Continental GT, and well, let's just do all the Bentleys at the same time, shall we? Hot garbage. This one's going to be slightly better. I'll give it pernicious also, maybe. Well, let me double check the MRA on the Orange Boy. 74.18. Yeah, definitely nothing higher than pernicious ulcer. But the last one is going to be this. This is going to be daily driver. This is going to be frequent provider. So, the frequent provider, the Continental GT V8S 3.984. I don't know why it's RQ79. I don't think it should be. I think it should go back down to 78 where it was, because it's just a worse version of the Continental GT Speed Coupe. Now this one is a decent Bentley. I would give it not even a decent Bentley. I think this is a decent Bentley. This is a good Bentley. You don't hear me say that very often. 74 MRI isn't strong, but at least it's got a high top speed, which is probably still, it's not going to hit. But low 0 to 60, 3.9, and 85 handling, and 4-wheel drive. But, you know, like all Bentleys, it's incredibly heavy, but it's one of the better cars out there. I do use it quite a bit. At one point, I think I had 3 of them, but now I think I only have 2. That being said, though, you can get value out of the Continental GT, especially in multiplayer. Outside of clubs is what I mean. There seems to be a lot of events, whether it be Great Exhibition, whether it be Coupe events or British events, Bentley events, 4-wheel drive events, where the Bentley Continental Speed Coupe turns out to be one of the better cars that you can use. So for that, I will give it daily driver. And then we have the red convertible, 74 MRA, 3.884. It's an average one. I'll put it under frequent provider. All right, next up is the Land Rover Defender Works V8. Pretty interesting one. Where am I going to rank this? Because it's got a low 0 to 60, man. 5.6 4.6 is low, and it isn't too heavy. It's under 2 tons, okay? So for an off-roader, that is considered relatively light. No MRA, no top speed, no handling. At the end of the day, when you put it in a twisty situation, you're going to use the Colorado ZR2 every day. So the Land Rover Defender is very niche. There are situations where it will shine in, but not a lot. I'll give it freaking provider. Alright, next one is going to be from my birth year, the 1999 R34 Skyline. 73 MRA, 4.685. I mean, I like the car, man, but the best I'm going to give it again is freaking provider. I think all the Skylines are pretty evenly rated, so I'll just put them in the average tier. Not good, not bad, just decent. And then with the Peugeot 908 RC, yeah, that is their Kaiser for sure. You're getting medium ground clearance, the saloon tag, 98 MRA, a high top speed, and a very low 0 to 60. 3.5 is absolutely bonkers. No handling, but it really doesn't matter because once again, it knows that it's a dragster. Definitely their Kaiser. And then we have the E-Legend. The E-Legend is okay. It's kind of like the Continental GT Speed Coupe, where you feel like you might not use it that much, but you do end up using it a lot. Whether it be a Peugeot event or a wet event or 4-wheel drive, it has medium ground clearance, and the 0 to 60 is incredibly low. It's an interesting one, the E-Legend. I never thought that I would rate it as high as I'm doing it right now, but like I said, it's a bit of a surprise. You use it quite often, kind of like the Bentley, so I'm going to put them in the same tier. Next up are going to be the Porks, or the Porsches. The 911 Carrera 4, I absolutely adore this car, but it's also like really useless. RQ75 with a 5-second 0 to 60, it's hot garbage. And the next one is going to be the 911 Carrera 4S, 71 MRA, but the 0 to 60 is slightly better, and it has 85 handling. I would say it's a slight upgrade over the Bentley. It's also way lighter than the Bentley's, coming in at 1,535 kilograms, so I would rank them above the Continental and the Flying Spur, and I would put it in pernicious ulcer. But then again, you can't really compare the Porsche and the Continental Flying Spur together. One is medium, one isn't, but I can compare it to the Continental GT. Now, next up is going to be the Porsche 911 Carrera Targa, 4S, 75 MRA, but the handling here is actually really good. The 0 to 60 isn't too bad as well. That being said, though, it is still a worse version of the Continental GT Speed Coupe. So, oh man, I can put these two together. I might even bring I don't know. Should I bring the Bentley? The thing is, the Bentley Continental GT Speed Coupe is like the best 4-wheel drive great exhibition car out there to use for epic, okay, for epic and below. I do use it a lot. Like, this is like the best Bentley in my opinion, because obviously you don't want to upgrade the legendaries. The low end legendaries are crap, so if you don't have the high end legendary Bentleys like the RQ90, like the Deadpool one that we'll rate in a little bit, that's actually one of the best Bentleys to use for on-road purposes. Obviously the best Bentley is going to be the epic Bentayga. I'm going to move it to Der Kaiser. You might disagree with me on that, but I'm going to put it as a low Der Kaiser because it makes sense, because I want to put the 911 Targa 4 under daily driver. Alright, peaking to pairs is going to be freaking provider. It's much like the Defender, where it's very useful in certain situations, but not a lot. But when it is useful, it is very useful. And when it's needed, it is very useful. And then we have the Volkswagens. The Phaeton is going to go under freaking provider, and the Arteon is going to go under daily driver, because the Arteon just has a lower 0 to 60. The handling though, what's the handling in this situation? I always thought the Arteon handled a little better. Phaeton. Well, the Phaeton isn't even on Top Drive's club. Oh, sorry, that isn't the Phaeton, that's the CC. For some reason, I thought that was the Phaeton. I'm dumb, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's going up. Yeah, that's the best handling one. Yeah, so the CC has 50 MRA, the Arteon has 55, but obviously you want to go with the car that handles more, also cheaper to use. The CC is definitely the cars in my opinion. For some reason, I thought that was the Phaeton. I don't know. But anyway, now let's move on to Legendary. So we have the GTR Track Edition, one of the best JPT Legendaries that you can get that has 4-wheel drive, so definitely is going to be Der Kaiser. I can't say the same for his Nissan counterparts though. I'm going to give them both freaking provider. The GTR Nismo though, I absolutely adore this car. I love the picture, but that's really just bias at best. It's also a freaking provider like its other GTR compatriots. I would move the Egoist up just because of the 2.9 sub 3 second 0 to 60, but for these two, freaking provider. Acura DNX is going to go to Der Kaiser. This is one car that I feel like a lot of people always disagree with me with. But the Acura DNX is just one of those cars where, yeah, it ain't flashy, yeah, it has no MRA, blah blah blah, but it carries a lot of niches, and you use it a lot. It's a concept. It's American Frontier. It's a saloon. It's from the 2000s. You're gonna use it a lot. It has a low 0 to 60, not very low, I should be honest, but it's sub 4 seconds at least. Over 200 miles per hour for top speed. Handling is decent for RQ83, considering that it has 4-wheel drive. I would give it Der Kaiser. And then with the Deadpool Bentley, this one I'm also gonna give it Der Kaiser, honestly, because this is one of the Bentleys that actually knows, that actually understands the assignment, and it's going to be the same situation for this. So this two I'm going to put under Der Kaiser, because both of them have really high top speeds, right? Over 200, and they have 90 MRI, decent 0 to 60s as well, and handling isn't the worst thing in the world. 4 Bentleys, okay? 4 Bentleys, but really the handling isn't what you're going to be caring about these two cars. So they got the high top speed. They've got the MRA. I'm going to give it to Der Kaiser. Now, the rest of the Bentleys, though, I can't say much. That's all hot garbage. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then number 9, you know what? I'll give these two a rank higher just because they have ridiculously low 0 to 60s. I'll give this one a slightly higher. I'll give this one, okay, fine. You know, they're all hot garbage, but they got ridiculously low 0 to 60s. That's all they really bring to the table, though, because they also have low MRA. So there's a little bit of value in that. I won't give them hot garbage. The Breitling, definitely, though. And then obviously the RQ82. If I remember correctly, the 82 Bentley actually has MRA. Yeah, 90.21 MRA. That being said, though, you're not going to get a lot of value out of it because it has the same 0 to 60 as a Hellcat, and the Hellcat actually has a better MRA and a higher top speed. So for that reason, honestly, I'm actually going to move it down to hot garbage. A Hellcat is better than that. Even if you max out the Bentley, still going to lose to a Hellcat. So anyway, moving on now, the BMW. The BMW, where are you? Because I have Top Drives Club open on my other screen over here. The M850i X-Drive, 83 MRA, which is nice. It low 0 to 60, but the top speed isn't very high. Very average, I would say. The handling also very average. I would give it like a high frequent provider, but a frequent provider at best. The RQ80 convertible, this one has 80 MRA, hot garbage. The GTR, we're going to put it here with the Egoist as well because they have very low 0 to 60, sub 3 seconds. And then we have the Porsches. There are a lot of Porsches and there are a lot of RUFs, so let's get them done and over with as quickly as we possibly can. The 911 Turbo, 72 MRA, 0 to 60 is atrocious. Handling isn't very good. It's definitely hot garbage. It's honestly almost as bad as this Bentley, if not worse, because it doesn't even have MRA. The 911 Targa 4S, the blue one that you see over here, has 72 MRA, low 0 to 60, very similar to the red GTR, so I'm going to put them together. And then we have the Porsche 911 Turbo, 996 model, so I have a huge bias towards this. Handling is decent, 86 I would say, but unfortunately MRA 76, not very good. I'm going to put it here. And then the 911 Turbo is also going to be a pernicious ulcer. If I remember correctly, the RQ88, I don't know why it went up. It used to be 87, now it's 88, has 79 MRA, and the 0 to 60 leaves little bit desired for basically a mid-tier legendary. 911 Turbo, though, this one is decent. I'm going to give it daily driver. The Turbo S is going to be Der Kaiser. I literally just reviewed these two cars as well, these two Porsches. The 959, absolutely hot garbage. Now, I know someone got mad at me. They were like, oh, how can you disrespect the 959 name? Listen, man. One of my dream cars. The 959 is literally one of my dream cars in real life. I understand how much of a legend this thing is, but in Top Drives, it's hot garbage. I love this car. I even have it maxed, for crying out loud, and I regret it, but not as much as other people would because I like the car in real life. Okay, Panamera Turbo, very, very ugly, but also somewhat useful now. It's medium ground clearance, so it kind of offsets us that way. It has the low 0 to 60 as well. I'll give it frequent provider. The Panamera, though, is definitely Der Kaiser. It's just better in every way. Lower 0 to 60, better handling, better top speed, better MRA, also medium, also 4-wheel drive. And then we have the RUFs. Okay, so the first RUF over here is going to be the CTR2, and the CTR2 has 91 MRI, not as good as what it used to have. It used to have like 110 or some crap like that. So unfortunately, the best I'm going to give it is you'll give it daily driver. And then we have the RT12 and the R Turbo. Now the R Turbo has 105 MRA, so this one is going to remain in Der Kaiser. And then we have the RT12S, 92 MRA, but it's got a ridiculously low 0 to 60. Once again, sub 3 seconds and good MRA, I'll put it in Der Kaiser. And then we have the Turbo Florio. The Turbo Florio is a pretty interesting one because for 2 RQ less than the RT12S, you are also getting 2 less MRA, 0.2 less 0 to 60, and the same handling but a way lower top speed. I would say that the RT12S is a low ranking Der Kaiser, which would make the RUF Turbo Florio a high ranking daily driver. And then we have the RUF Turbo R Limited, I believe that it's called. This is RQ8C8 and it is currently sitting at 101 MRA. So this one is better than the CTR2 in my opinion, and I'll give it a rank above. Well, actually I can't give it a rank above, can I? Because that would be daily Der Kaiser. Okay, then you know what? This will be a high daily driver, or this is CTR2 low daily driver. And last but not least, it's going to be the Polestar. The Volvo Polestar. Where am I going to rank the Volvo? 81 MRA, incredibly heavy, 2,350 kilograms. Handling is decent. 484 RQ, 0 to 60 is quite weak though, and the top speed isn't there. I would say I would give it pernicious ulcer. But anyway guys, that is going to be my review of the 4x4 carbon fiber. Very average carbon fiber, as you can see. It's you know, evenly distributed, 50%, 50-50. I would say 50% good, 50% bad. So pick your poison. Maybe you want to go for this or not. But anyway, I'm not going to open this pack. I'm still waiting for an update. It might happen this week. It might happen in 9 months. At this point, I have no clue. But the climate top drives is kind of weird right now. And it's funny because right after I completed my video recording for yesterday's video, while I was editing that video, the offers that I mentioned, those money offers that I mentioned in yesterday's video, showed up while I was editing the video, which is crazy. The timing was kind of insane for that. But anyway, hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight all night, cruise to Jacksonville
Atlantic.
Blonde hair, don't care, look like Leslie Brooks. Pin up girls everywhere with the drop dead look. Swing it side to side as we slow dance to the night. When I'll hold your perfect hand and take you out just for a ride. We'll share milkshakes at the diner and rebel at every hour. We can watch a drive-in movie, then have romance in the shower. Sleek my hair